Well, you're watching Good Morning Kenya. Welcome back. My name is Mike Migwe. Today being a Tuesday, it's all about people and politics. The president is on the mountain on a development and working tour. Everything is going on there. And yesterday he officiated the handing of the matters to do with Nyota program that targets over 6,000 youths within that region in the counties of Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Murang'a. And as that is going on, we cannot fail to read the political aspect of that. That will be coming up in just a little bit. We shall be looking at that. But before we get into that, allow me to take you through the front pages of our local dailies. And I'm going to start with the Star newspaper. Counties drown in 8 billion shillings bank loans amid financial crisis. That story is told on page 4 and 5 of the Star newspaper. Counties weighed down by bank facilities include Vihiga, Laikipia, Nyandarua, Machakos, Nairobi, Homa Bay, Kisumu. That story is told on page 4 and 5 of the Star newspaper. Could high-fat cheese cream protect brain from dementia? For decades, people have been told to avoid high-fat foods. Cheese, cream, butter, all whispered warnings in conversations about health. But a new study challenging that narrative suggests indulging in rich, creamy dairy might do more than satisfy the taste bud. It could also protect the brain. That story is told on page 9 of the Star newspaper. Rival ODM and UDA hopefuls spell doom for coalition dream. The prospect of competing candidates in ODM and UDA camps is emerging as one of the biggest headaches for coalition strategists, with fears that internal competition could hand rivals an unintended advantage in key battlegrounds. Read that story in detail on page 7 of the Star newspaper. In matters health, Kenya to roll out once in 6 months HIV prevention jab. That story is fleshed out on page 2 of the Star newspaper. Go-getter sweeping Mombasa clean street by street. That matters regards waste management and is told on page 11 of the Star newspaper. Crossing over to the Standard, Ruto Owalo game. This is what is captured right there. When a deputy chief of staff whose level in government protocols is understood to be at the cabinet level announced his departure, the message was interpreted in many ways. One interpretation is that this was not a routine administrative shuffle. Observers now believe that either the office he was serving in was dysfunctional or that Eliud Owalo is being dispatched to play a role in the larger 2027 Ruto matrix. Only a few have accepted Owalo's claim that left President Ruto's office to contest the presidency in 2027. That story is told in detail on page 4, and it has captured just the sentiments of some of the leaders regarding matters to do with Owalo's announcement that he will be gunning for presidency in the upcoming general election in 2027. On the front page of the Daily Nation, ODM decides. Officials say the Orange Party must declare its 2027 elections stand this year. The Orange Democratic Movement's Central Management Committee has sanctioned pre-election coalition talks with the ruling United Democratic Alliance, taking steps towards formalizing a deal to back President Ruto's re-election campaign in exchange for a share of government positions should the coalition win in the next election. That story is told on page 4 and 5. of the Daily Nation. Hitches on first day of senior school admissions. That is a story that is being told on page 10 and 11 regarding the senior school admissions. Grade 10 learners began reporting to senior school yesterday, with some institutions reporting a low turnout amid complaints by parents about varied admission requirements, demands for extra fees and inadequate facilities, including laboratories, dormitories. Some head teachers also cited a shortage of teachers for new subjects and delays to distribute textbooks. However, school managers said they will admit learners throughout the week. That is a story told on page 10 and 11 of the Daily Nation. How nurse saved a life mid-flight. Irene Jepchirchir was jolted by a distress call in a United Airlines flight headed for Boston, United States, asking whether there was a medical professional. Read that story in detail on page 3 of the Daily Nation. And finally, Healthy Nation. Pesticides killing Kenyans. A new investigation reveals how banned and highly toxic chemicals smuggled through porous borders are claiming farmers' lives and poisoning the food chain. So read that story on page 12 of the Daily Nation. That is what is being reported on the front pages of our local dailies. And now we get into today's matters of conversation. And in studio, I'm joined by Honorable Kennedy Obuya, who is the UDA chair, Homa Bay County. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my brother.
How are
Mike.
you doing?
I thank God. I'm grateful we are alive.
Yes.
And we have a peaceful nation.
Yeah.
We don't take that for granted.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to get your comment, especially regarding the front page of the Daily Nation. ODM decides. ODM, the Orange Democratic Movement Central Management Committee has sanctioned the pre-election coalition talks with the ruling United Democratic Alliance, taking a step towards formalizing a deal to back President Ruto's re-election campaign in exchange for a share of government positions should the coalition win in the next elections. What's your take?
Political parties are formed to form government. And I believe historically the late party leader for ODM,
yes,
that's what he stood for. And it's on record that many times, either post or pre election, yes, every election cycle, he normally he's had always a way of being part of government, and that's allowed. And from the statements made consistently by the current acting party leader for ODM, Dr. Buru Oginga, he's also been mentioned widely that what he stands for is not to defy the gestures that was made by his predecessor of having an election pact with Dr. William Samoei Ruto's government. And I want to tell you that that is a good gesture enough that ODM leadership is willing. Either way, both functions, they are both willing to be part of the next government. So I would authoritatively say that as UDA members, that's a good gesture. That's a good gesture.
A good sign for 2027.
It's a good sign. It's a good sign. If you look at all sides of the divide, either one side is saying we want to have this before we sign a pact with William Ruto.
Yes.
That's a gesture that they're willing.
Yes.
And the other side are also saying that we are already in government through the gestures of 2024 of broad-based steps. And we will have a sitting before election. And I think that is the spirit led by our party leader, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. We are the United Democratic Alliance. We believe in alliances. Yes.
And given whatever that is going on in ODM, do you see it affecting how that will turn out in the lead up to the 2027 elections? How do you see that affecting the whole essence of the broad-based government from your perspective?
Historically, when the head of any institution dies, normally expectations of push and pull for personal interest, institutional interest of individuals who want to lead that institution normally comes up. That's very normal. And we see that in ODM. ODM is not isolated. And ODM, with the time, we pray and we believe they will come out of that. How I pray that happens fast, so that they have order and acceptance with the new leadership. And I want to tell you that either way, ODM, led by Dr. Burudinga and Dr. William Ruto's UDA, and Kenya Kwanza, we love a way forward.
Yes.
Yes.
Indeed. Let's get into today's conversation. And the president has been on the mountain since Sunday on a working tour. This comes almost 1 year since his last visit there last year, March. But since then, the political landscape has changed.
Yes. Because
it has changed since the impeachment of the former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. In as much as this is a development and a working tour, what does it mean politically?
William Ruto is a political animal. He's been around. He's someone who has grown through the political ladder. He's been around. He mentioned earlier when he took over the mantle of the presidency.
Yes.
When there was some exchange between him and late Jirongo, that my brother, nimekubali nilikuwa mtu wa mkono yako, but for now nimekajipanga na saizi niko hapa. That is testimony that is someone who has grown politically through all the cadres, from kutoka mtu wa mkono to becoming the head of state. And I want to tell you that William Ruto is not a weak politician. He's been around when President Moi was there. He defied the President Kibaki's government strongly from his steps in the 2005 referendum and the 2007 election. He defied his good friend Raila Odinga, and in 2013, and he formed government with President Uhuru Kenyatta. And in 2022, against all odds, with nearly zero logistics, he came out strongly with the goodwill. And being informed, President Ruto knows very well the political terrain. You know, the African democracy practice, there are some important situations that you, as a presidential candidate, you must be cognizant of. One of them being ethnical formations. That's a reality in African democracy. And Dr. Ruto is informed that nobody can ignore the Mount Kenya voting bloc. And him having been a direct beneficiary of the goodwill of the Mount Kenya people. So far, William Ruto is informed that something happened. There was a disagreement between him and his former deputy president, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. That does not mean that he is locked out. Mount Kenya is part of Kenya. And Mount Kenya's voting bloc is very important to the stability and continuity of Kenya Kwanza government and the entire nation, just like all other voting blocks in the Kenya are important to William Ruto. So I don't think William Ruto wants to leave anybody behind. And he has all the rights to engage individuals, those the political elite, including and not limited to individual citizens within Mount Kenya region. He will engage everyone in the Mount Kenya. And I believe the by-election in Mount Kenya, was it Mbere?
Yes, Mbere North.
Mbere North. The outcome is testimony enough that William Ruto and Professor Abraham Kindiki, they mean business.
What about the UDA grassroots elections that were happening over the weekend in areas of Mount Kenya? The low turnout. Is that also an indication of a waning popularity of the party, and by extension,
yes,
the party leader, that is Dr. William Ruto, who is the president?
How do you term a good exercise in Mount Kenya, low turnout, having the general populace of Mount Kenya having been incited and mobilized and whipped against a UDA government? I believe that was good gesture from the people of Mount Kenya, that as much as the general populace had been whipped against William Ruto, and still there's quite a good number of citizens of Mount Kenya who are willing to be part of UDA government, which is actually their party and their government. Yes.
You know, when you look at Mount Kenya, and actually, Nyeri, it's the backyard of the former deputy president.
Yes.
And actually, that is where the president started his tour from. And he's saying that he did dismiss the slogans that have been used, the one-term brigade there, saying that he built friendships during past functions. And he's the one who, the kind of a relationship that they have with Mount Kenya is was built by him and no one helped him. Do you see that happening again, given that there is some level of open apathy to some idea of having the president getting votes from that region?
Historically, the voting pattern in Mount Kenya has been clearly shown. The Mount Kenya people, the citizens of Mount Kenya,
yes,
people are very well informed. Number one, you know, people from my backyard, normally we have had a culture of being anti-government. And it's testimony from the three last successive governments that citizens of Mount Kenya have people who have really shown that they don't want to be outside government. And I want to tell you that either way, both the political elite and the citizens, the normal wananchi from Mount Kenya, I want to inform you that none of them want to be in the opposition. And being that the developments in Kenya now, Mount Kenya will be part of this government, either after election of William Ruto or before re-election of William Ruto. Yes.
And even he did say that the board cannot be shaken by petty politics, falsehoods, and noise. Is that the case?
You know, somebody said that if you want to kill a dog, you give it a bad name. William Ruto has been profiled, has been labeled from the time he was minister. He was mentioned to be a thief, and including Rigi G. You know, and many political elite who now does not see from the same lens with Dr. Ruto. When Uhuru Kenyatta tried to market Dr. Ruto, I mean Dr. Raila, in central Kenya, Mount Kenya region, we all saw them saying that huyo Ruto hata kama ni mwizi ndio wetu. So what changed when they were informed then, and they said that they have so many names on William Ruto, but we are still going to vote for him. How do you come back again and profile and label the same person that a few years ago you are cognizant that society and a quarter in Kenya of political elite already had profiled him? So I just want to make a prayer that Mount Kenya, this country, you're part of this nation, be part of this government. It is your government. You contributed heavily the price of bringing Kenya Kwanza UDA government. This is your government. Please come back home.
Now, we've seen Mount Kenya, towards 2022, Jubilee was the dominant party in that region. Now we have DCP, we have other parties like DP, we have Moses Kuria, CCK. do you see them dwindling the chances of UDA clinching seats, or how do you see that affecting the politics within that region in terms of how many seats the parties could get?
With the repealing of Section 2A in 1990, 1991 towards 1992 elections, with the introduction of multi-party politics, Mount Kenya has been the only region with the highest number of political parties actively involved in elections in the entire republic. We have witnessed from civic politics to now the present 2010 constitution of regional county government politics. In Mount Kenya, we have had so many people getting elected from different political parties. But at the national level, we somehow Mount Kenya has pulled towards a particular goal for community gain. And I don't think it is news that we have new political formations in Mount Kenya. In regards to national politics, I think Mount Kenya will somehow find a way to be part of government. Yes.
How sure are you that this and the charm offensives of UDA party leader, that is the president, will be at the expected results, so to speak, with regards to or within the lead up to the general elections? Because this is not the first or the last time he'll be going back to Mount Kenya. So how do you see that changing anything?
William Ruto, like I mentioned earlier, is a political animal. William Ruto is a go-getter. I want to assure you, that gentleman will be in every door. He will camp in Mount Kenya, he will engage the people directly, he will engage the sons and daughters who have influence in Mount Kenya.
The same as 2022, when he used to do political gatherings almost every weekend.
It will be much stronger than 2022. This is a time that William Ruto feels is cornered. This is a time that William Ruto wants to make a point that is the president and he means well for this nation. William Ruto has been shown to believe that we are all part of this nation and it is important to have all Kenyans on board. If William Ruto could deal with Raila Odinga, what makes you think William Ruto cannot have a sitting with Rigathi Gachagua before elections or even after
Is that
elections?
a possibility?
It is a one thing that is constant in politics and African democracy is interest and the interest of people that you lead. I don't think that Rigathi Gachagua is also is a seriously upcoming political player, and I don't think either way he may have an arrangement, either before this election or immediately after this election. Take that to the bank.
Do you think he has made an impact, especially within the mountain area, regarding his calls to have the region not back President Ruto in 2027?
It takes a good politician like William Ruto and myself to know that you cannot ignore someone in the stature of Rigathi Gachagua. He's a key player in the modern politics of the republic. And that's why UDA will camp in Mount Kenya. We will engage everybody, including Rigathi Gachagua.
How would that look like? And from what perspective would that start?
I mentioned that politics is all about interest. Interest of the people that you lead. Interest of the stability and continuity of our nation. That would require that, at times you may make unpopular decisions. And if the continuity and stability of Kenya becomes number one, then self-interest and individual party interest may be shelved aside so that stability and continuity of Kenya as a nation moves forward. So if uniting Kenya and the stability of Kenya's republic requires that William Ruto sits down with Rigathi Gachagua, we will do that, and I believe that is what William Ruto stands for. Kenya must be united. Yes.
Indeed. Let me also say that we are joined by Wakili Peter Wasaga, who is an advocate of the High Court. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Umekuwa aje?
Niko salama. I'm glad to be back.
Yes.
I'm glad to be here in 2026.
Yes.
It's a very interesting year. At least the economy will start opening up. Because politicians, as usual, what they withheld, they'll start releasing it to the economy, to the voters.
Yes.
Who, of course, they have the formula of getting them into their box. And that is tokenism.
Yes.
So expect a lot of changes. Expect a lot of shift in allegiance and alliances. I agree with my brother that politics, there are two constants in politics. And one of such constants is interests. Where your bread and butter lies, that is where you sing and you praise. The other one is betrayal. No, there are no permanent friends in politics, and there are no permanent enemies.
Yeah.
Only permanent interests. The third thing that I also need to mention is that we are going to see a lot of surprises because the Raila factor is no longer in the Kenyan politics. So with Raila factor not being in Kenyan politics, especially the 2027 election,
Yes.
there are so many horses and donkeys at the same time who will show up themselves. And perhaps this election will have the highest number of contestants in the seat of the presidency. But now the main thing that we need to ask ourselves is what do they bring
To the table.
table?
All right.
Yes.
All right. We'll continue on that point, but we'll do that after this short break. Stay with us.
I know. I was wrong.
Why are you coming back?
To see you. I miss you. We're not at your place, and no one's here to arrest me. So it must be important.
He's told me he's moved on, but I can feel it's still affecting him up to now.
But no one's made trouble lately. What's going on?
He didn't say, though he didn't look happy.
Greetings in the name of the Most High, Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
We have to do it twice.
Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke KE, or use our social media handles, Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
Still watching Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Megwe. Welcome back. This is People and Politics, and we are looking at the president's tour in the mountains, the development or politics. I'm having this conversation with Wakili Peter Wasaga, who is an advocate of the High Court, and also Honorable Kennedy Obuya, who is the UDA chairman, Homa Bay County. Wakili, there's something you said about what we shall be seeing, the surprises that will be there, and what leaders are bringing to the table.
Exactly. You see, when you decide to run for a political seat, there are things that you must first understand. And if I may put them in their order, is the acceptance and the popularity. The acceptance here is very broad. Have you been accepted by your people? Charity begins at home. Of course, we really try so much to run away from that kind of politics, but it is the reality on the ground that you must first be embraced at home before you can be embraced nationally. That is why you see Rigathi Gachagua is trying to galvanize the support of the mountain so that it can get a way to bargain on the table. Number two, you must also have the capacity. Of course, there is the constitutional capacity of age, of education level, of the integrity level, and everything. But then there is also the capacity to run a campaign. How much is required to run a campaign? And how many candidates are able to get to that threshold of running a successful presidential campaign? As much as we abhor politics of tokenism, but there is also movements. You need to reach the people of Remba Highland, Suba, Sindo. You have to go to Nyaururu. You have to go all the way to Vanga and Mandera. So how do you do this? It requires finance. The other thing that is very important is also the agenda, but that comes last, because Kenyans, most of us, we are used to lies, and we are used to parade and line behind a slogan without really questioning the reality. That's why the reality and the reality of achieving these slogans and manifesto. That is why last time William Ruto promised us heaven, and we ended up somewhere. But I think we will be able to judge him. We'll be able to judge him well come 2027, mid 2027, not the end of this year, because there are so many projects that he has initiated. So, but there was a lot of overpromising from both President William Ruto and also Raila Odinga on his part. But then the other thing that you must also appreciate, now the enmity that is now there, that has been created. You see, political nemesis are created. I mean, the enmity is created. And it's normally not about our interests. It's about the interests of politicians. So Rigathi Gachagua, when he was pushed out of the William Ruto's government, he was very angry, and he's still angry. And this anger could only be shown by mobilizing his people against President William Ruto. But then now with that interest, the mountain looks at it differently. The elites in the mountain, though the common Wananchi, they already buy the Rigathi Gachagua narrative. But looking at it critically is now, what is it there for us? Because if it is a slogan of one term, after one term, then what? What next? Then, of course, with the tradition of presidents not always going for one term, that is also something that the mountain, I mean, the people of the mountain will be looking at keenly. And that is why you see some of the elites. You saw people like Moses Kuria. You saw people like the Mutai Kahiga. They are not going there that they are backing. They are not backing President Ruto for who he is. They are backing President William Ruto for their own political interests. One, Mutai Kahiga knows that this is his second term. He's not also very popular. Remember how he got his how he got to be to assume office in the first instance, then the second one. And of course, their politics has also been revolving around Raila Odinga. So anything away from Raila Odinga does not sell. So where does he run to after the second term? So it's not about the people. I know if he will be taken to vote, DCP will carry the day in Nyeri. But look at then, for example, he is going for the second term, and what next? Moses Kuria, he has no political seat that is vying. So probably he wants to build his party so that when that time of negotiation comes, he can easily go there and tell William Ruto, you see, I have my people. That is also what Owalo is trying. Owalo is trying to also measure his strength. But with the measure of his strength, will he be able to get a seat at the negotiation table, or he would have best been seated with William Ruto negotiating for him as now an ally of William Ruto, than now trying to come and negotiate with William Ruto. That will be a mirage.
Coming back to the president's visit on the mountain, what do you make of it? Is it really, because it's on a working tour of the mountain, but what do you make of it, especially from a political standpoint?
Like I said, the elites of the mountain, most of the leaders, they know, and it would be very difficult for the president not to go for the second term. And so with this realization, hate him or love him, you'll have to invite him so that you are at the negotiation table. That is what the mountains have realized. The people of the mountain have realized. So the president's going to Mount Kenya is not that he's very popular. No. It's about the interests of the mountain. They are trying to embrace him because they know that defeating him will be a mirage. But in a free and fair election, a majority of people from Central will vote against William Ruto because they have been whipped. They have been mobilized to understand that they were betrayed. So most of them, of course, any politician will attract a crowd. So that is something that you must appreciate, that yes, President William Ruto is going to the mountain, is making inroads to the mountain. He'll get something out of it, but a majority will vote for DCP.
Is this a timed move, given that over time, it has become evident that when you look at the loyalty of the mountain to the president or the government of the day, that loyalty has been increasingly tested. Is it a timed approach or move right about now?
There's nothing that is happening in the mountain that has never happened before. Whatever is happening with William Ruto's administration happened with the President Moi. And we also, sons, big players. We saw what Njindo Matiba pulled. We also saw what Kibaki did. And we also saw what happened in 2002 when we had two sons of the mountain going for the presidency. And I want to tell you, like I said earlier, the common mwananchi in the mountain are more informed than many citizens of this nation about being in government. And I want to reassure you again that William Ruto will engage every citizen, every political player in this nation. The most important thing that is important to William Ruto is the stability and continuity of Kenya as a nation. He will engage the mountain people directly or indirectly. And I want to assure you, William Ruto is going to win this, and the people of Mount Kenya will be in government, either before election or immediately after this election.
Do you think he will get the overwhelming support that he got in 2022?
The support may not be as much as that which he got in 2022, but he will get the support, not because they love him, but because of comradeship. Comradeship is you either like the same thing or hate the same thing. So right now, they may want to be in government. So they may not want to have William Ruto. They may not like William Ruto. But the reality that William Ruto may just actually make it to the second term will push them to vote for him, not because they love him, but because of interest. But in any way, who will be the winner here? It will still be William Ruto winning the presidency. But then, who will be the loser? Is there a possibility of Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto uniting? I don't want to wish it away. Anything is possible in politics. No one knew that after 2017, after the nullification of the presidential election and the degree of anger that was in the nation, Raila would shake hands with with Uhuru Kenyatta. Again, no one knew that after the 2022 elections and the Mandamano and the tear gassing that happened, William Ruto will shake hands with Raila. It's because Kenyan politics is not about, it's not ideology based. If it was ideology based, then one would stick with his ideology to the end. But it's about interest. Where am I? Because if you look at the other countries, the other developed countries, you will stick to your party and you will stick to your, you'll stick to your line of engagement, notwithstanding who wins the elections. But here now, if William Ruto wins the election and Rigathi Gachagua becomes the opposition leader, as he always, as he has actually said it, that the opposition cannot operate without him. I hope you heard that yesterday. Or is it yesterday or the other day that he is the opposition? So it means that he's also building a portfolio for him to actually also get a leadership in the National Assembly. So he may not be here to win, but he may be here to make a statement. And when you make a statement, then you know you can also have a share. Because in the Kenyan democracy, though the winner takes it all, but there are some advantages, there are some privileges that are well kept for the opposition. But can William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua shake hands? I doubt.
He's confident.
No, I totally doubt. Maybe in the next world, in the next world, which may not come.
But because anything is possible in politics. Where does that play out?
That's why I give it around 20%.
20% is a very significant figure.
Let me lower it to 5%.
Mike,
yes,
my wakili here is a young, brilliant mind.
Yes.
And picking his mind, his statement, when you say that Kenya's politics is purely based on interest. Number one interest in the Kenya's politics that most leaders have been informed, that Kenya's continuity relies solely on Kenya's stability. And that's why all presidents from Moi time had a very silent, let's call them handshakes. He did with Raila in '97, and Moi did with Mount Kenya. Moi went directly to the Mount Kenya people because I don't think there's any region more than Mount Kenya and Nyanza that rebelled against Moi's administration from around 1984 all the way to 1997. And Moi had a way of engaging the people and a few friends in these two regions directly. And somehow he ended up getting members elected in those areas and with KANU and getting some overwhelming good percentage of votes. And I want to tell you that, my friend, there's nothing that is impossible in this republic. There's a great possibility that William Ruto may sit with Rigathi Gachagua before this election or immediately after election. What does Rigathi Gachagua want? Like he has said, he wants his main interest is not necessarily to win, but is to become a serious player who can come to the table and negotiate constructively, having elected membership behind him. And that's why I'm saying there's a possibility of him sitting with Dr. William Ruto before this election or immediately after Ruto has won.
You know, one of the things that the president has argued during his tour on the mountain is that leadership should be judged on service delivery rather than rhetoric. But then again, that may be the case, yes, on paper. But does it reflect the decisions that a Kenyan make when he or she is going to vote, Wakili?
It's very rare. No, we rarely look at developments in our elections. But if I lose my point, I'll come back to that. Allow me to just add to what my brother has said.
Yes.
I know there will be handshakes before elections, but that handshake, I still believe that it may involve other actors in the opposition and not Rigathi Gachagua. High possibility that Kalonzo will join the government before 2027. That is something that you cannot wish away. There is high possibility for people like Matiang'i joining the government. That is something that you cannot wish away. But I doubt, of course, there is possibility, that's why we put it at 5%.
Yes.
But then, coming to your question, does development matter? Development only matters to the elites. We were the minority. A number of Kenyan politics is ethnicized. So it's always about protecting and fighting. So who is our person? If Kennedy, I mean, if my brother Obuya is our kingpin, then we will elect him and elect his loyalists to help him fight there. Or we would be doing it around strengthening a party, so that if there is a very vocal party member or party official or sitting member of parliament who's very vocal and very loyal to the party, then notwithstanding his poor performance, he will be elected. But we would want to see how that will play in the coming politics.
Yes.
So is it about development? Development plays a very small margin in Kenyan politics. It's about, Kenyan politics, it's about mobilizing and using your resources to win an election. And so that's why most of the crowds that you see in political rallies, they are not just natural, they are not organic. They are mobilized to go for those political rallies, and they are given, they are given something to just attend those rallies. It's open. You see in Kisumu gubernatorial race, it's even becoming very bare that after you go for any meeting, you'll be lining up and they will give you 1,000. So tell me, someone gives you 1,000 on the election day. Someone gives you 1,000 on the election day and you didn't have burger that day, you didn't have sugar, you didn't have anything. Then someone shows you the road. Talking about that, whom will you vote? I know rationality and common sense dictates that you look at the roads and the development, but the stomach and the human needs at that present time will lead you to believe that so-and-so is kind because he has seen you directly. He has given you a token directly that you put in your pocket. And that is why, and that is how we have lost good leaders. So it will not be about development. It will be about what I said in the beginning. How popular are you? How wealthy are you? And then can you sustain a narrative in all your political, because it's about a narrative. We have done this, we will do this. We're so over-promising and over-promising. But I urge Kenyans, especially the Gen Z, they came out very strongly last year. And they were castigating the sitting government for so many atrocities and so many shortcomings. Can they come out this time as well and have a checklist of what they went to the street for? Have they been achieved? If it was poor governance, if it was inclusivity, is there inclusivity in the government? If there was corruption, what is the corruption index as we speak right now? If it was about development, can they show I mean, can they show the development track and the development record? Then we can go and vote on those lines. But then come back again. The role that the social media plays, because most of the Gen Zs are on social media,
yes,
and the actualization of their threats on social media. That is where we also draw the line. Because the other time, the voter registration exercise was actually launched. How many Gen Zs have registered to vote? So it means that the traditional voters are the ones who are still going to go to vote. And when they vote, they already have their allegiances. And that is why calling for a Gen Z protest right now will be a mirage. Why? It's because these Gen Zs have also now started identifying with their people. They are identifying with their tribes. So it's not about leaderlessness again. It's not about organic sprouting of protest. They now want to look at our people, who is there, and how then are we going forward. So that is the main problem with the Kenyan voters. But now they say in Kiswahili, mgala muwe lakini haki umpe. In the recent times, William Ruto has made strides. It may not be 100%, but we can see construction all over. Every road, there is construction, including where I come from. Rusinga Island Ring Road already is completed, and you can go all around Rusinga Island. So tell me, if you add that with other things, with other factors that we mentioned, if someone can beat William Ruto on that ground, then you'll come now to Central, the Mau roads. There's so many roads that are being constructed. Get to the CBD, get to Uhuru Highway. I mean, there's construction all over. So that, and now the inclusivity. Initially was, we had this common saying that when siasa mbaya maisha mbaya. So that if you didn't vote for William Ruto, and of course the politics of shares, you see it has reduced. And you can see there is some level of inclusivity in the government from all the regions. All the way from Turkana, we have a school. Going to Suba, we have John Badi. Going to Luo, we have, Nyanza, the great Nyanza, Luo Nyanza, we have Pio Wandai. Going to Kisii, we have Migosi Ogamba. Going to the coast, we have Joho. Yes. Going to, of course, and other ministers, Mvurya is there. Going to Western, we have Oparanya. And other ministers, you see. So with this, at least there is some inclusivity, and it will be very difficult because these individuals who have been appointed to these senior positions, they also have influence. So it will be very difficult to beat William Ruto with just a one-term agenda. It must be beyond one term.
Yes. Well, how do you think Kenyans, in terms of voting, will change the way they vote based on interests or issues?
You know, the 2027 voters moving forward, quite a majority are very informed lot. A majority of these voters are people who does not care whether you are called Kamau or Onyango. And in the Kenyan urbans, now you would go to Nyeri and find one Onyango who has been, that's where he calls home. The parents either work in Kiganjo, he's been there for the last 20 or so years. And he doesn't understand why Ubuya would tell him that Rigathi Gachagua is bad. Yeah. And you would find one Kamau who is born in Jericho and Imaradaima, who has grown up with Simiu and Utieno. He doesn't understand why Mike would tell them that Ruto is bad. So they're quite informed, and they're technologically more advanced. Unlike the previous voting bloc. And these people, number one, that's why they took the Kenyans by surprise when Gen Z came out. As much as the real idea was not their own, but the energy that came out in them is testimony that The Kenyan youth wants Kenya to be united. The Kenyan youth want their leaders to be accountable to the deliveries that they stand for. So I want to tell you that in 2027, majority of this same Gen Z will shock you. Now, they have seen these 2 years after 2004, when they made demands.
2024.
In 2024,
yes.
When they made demands, Ruto has changed. And it is shown that he means business. And I also want to tell you that, Rome was not built in a day. We must begin from somewhere. And William Ruto believes that the journey to Singapore, it begins now. And it takes courage, it takes commitment that together, jointly, if we believe in something and focus, we can achieve it. And most of these Gen Zs, there are people who have seen what they need is a selfless leader, someone to take charge and push them. I am telling you, look at what happened over the weekend. Look at the outcome, the numbers that when this, I saw him for the first time. Is called I show speed. I show speed. You understand? How are these Kenyans mobilized? Because they have the technology, they are more advanced in communication. And I am telling you, the same way they were whipped and they turned up is the same way they are now going to make sure that they will vote Ruto overwhelmingly. Not because Ruto is very perfect, but Ruto is the better option that we have now.
All right. We'll take a very short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with this conversation. And some of the things that we are going to look at is that what does this visit to the mountain, what message does it send to both supporters and critics? Stay with us. Still watching Good Morning Kenya. This is People and Politics. We're talking about the president's visit to the mountain, or the mountain factor, and the visit that is happening. Is it about development or politics? Wakili, what do you think from your own perspective, given this visit now that is happening? The president is touring the mountain. What message is he trying to pass across for both his supporters and critics?
Okay. It's politics is also about perception. And the perception here is, one, the crowd. Whether they are mobilized or it's organic, but that also is a way of communication in politics. That I am still strong. I am not as weak as you thought. So that's a way of encouraging your supporters. That is also a way of discouraging those who don't support you. And it's about perception. No one wants to fight a losing battle. Number two, debunking the lies. Of course, there has been a narrative in the mountain that the president has betrayed the mountain. He has not done anything to the mountain. And so what happens, the president goes there to list the things, the projects, the developments that he has actually completed or that are ongoing in the region. That the president has chased away our sons and daughters from the government and taken those positions and given to those who did not vote him. When the president goes there, one with the leadership of Jubilee being Cecil Mbarire, still the chairman of, not Jubilee, but UDA. Then the ministers, who are still sons of the mountain, is trying to pass a point. Then the last thing is also trying to win the support base. And you see, how do you win the support base? You go for the vulnerable. The vulnerable are those that, like I said, their term is already exhausted. And so what next? they would be well suited as in appointive positions. So how then do you do that? You take them, put them into your basket, and then you make them vocal. And then what does that do? That perception again. Even his governor, his own governor. You see how it aggers on our ears, in our ears. Even his own governor has distanced himself from his rhetorics. So it means that the president is winning on that front. And even all other regions who are yet to decide, they are now pushed to also rush to the table. That no one is being left behind. Everyone is brought together. No one is scattered. And then now the ODM factor. The ODM factor. You see, politics, as I said, it's about interest. With a united mountain, which the president also projects by going to the mountain, and we see those crowds, the other actors, the other political actors, are also scared that if we dilly-dally, then our space at the table may be we may be displaced. So they have to cement their position. And that is why you saw the meeting that was held yesterday in Kilifi. And you saw the press statement and resolutions. So everyone wants to get, because no one, let me put it this way, that success has very many friends. But failure is an orphan. So no one wants to associate himself with a failure. So that is a perception that the president will do whatever it takes to project to the public that he has everyone, that it is only you who is left, and if you don't run, then it means that you'll be left forever. So this is a very strategic. Nothing in politics is done just for the sake. Everything is well planned, and it is executed to meet a certain political objective or call. And that is why you will be surprised that after visiting the mountain, you'll see a lot of people crossing over to support the president. I was so surprised to see Moses Kuria. I don't know whether he's been a Trojan horse, but then I was so surprised to see him just from nowhere coming back. And all of a sudden, he's very excited and he wants to be at the table. And he was at the table and he left just the other day. So begging the question, was his leaving strategic, or he was just a Trojan horse? Was he holding brief or just trying to measure and see how the ground operates? Because such people, they don't just act without their... when you see Moses Kuria make a stride or make a step, he already has figured it out that when I get to this point, I'll not be able to defend my seat. Take, for example, I will not be able to defend my interest. Take, for example, Anne Waiguru. Anne Waiguru was an ardent supporter of President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. But then at the long run, she just shifted allegiance and went to William Ruto. Yes. And you saw she displaced Purity Ngirishi. Why? He didn't leave President Uhuru because President Uhuru was not a better person, but because the temperatures at the mountain that time were for the current president. And so for her political survival, she had to come back. And that is how she won her seat. The same thing with so many other politicians that you saw shifting and drifting. They were trying to see. Even Mutahi Kahiga, at one point, he was sitting at the fence. But when it was very clear that William Ruto was taking up the mountain, they came. So politics is about interest. Perhaps Moses Kuria has already seen that with the developments in the country, it will be very difficult to beat an incumbent. And that is why his interest is leading him back.
Was that move, given what he is saying, that seemingly the Moses Kuria, it was strategic for him?
Moses Kuria is been around, and Moses Kuria understands the leadership gaps in the republic and where it comes from. his biggest constituency of Kiambu, spread across Mount Kenya region, and equally Nairobi, the Nairobi cosmopolitan area.
Yes.
Moses Kuria, you don't ignore him. Normally, Moses Kuria is a very focused leader. The way he does his submissions on what he stands for at times may come out as a joke. But if you have been around, you've read how he moves along political inclinations. Moses Kuria is now cognizant that William Ruto's re-election is unstoppable. And I don't think Moses Kuria wants to be outside government. He did that with President Moi only. And since then, he's never been outside any government. And he's not going to be outside government in 2027 moving forward. So I want to tell you, number one, it is not only Moses Kuria. There are so many political players.
Yes.
And my brother, number one, we must agree that constitutionally, yet Rigathi Gachagua would not run for an elective office in 2027. And the Luo Nyanza would not have a serious presidential candidate. And we have not seen in central Mount Kenya region a serious presidential candidate coming up to replace Rigathi Gachagua.
Yes.
That means that both Nyanza and Mount Kenya region will not have, that is Luo Nyanza, will not have a serious presidential candidate on the ballot. That is going to play a key role in William Ruto's automatic reception within the two voting blocks. Being that people will say at the central, kama tuna mtu anasimama rais, then huyu Githinji ndio wetu bado. Yes.
Sasa, when it comes to that fallout between the president and his former deputy, and given now that he is going back to the mountain, this is not going to be the first or the last time. How do you see that fallout shaping now the engagement going forward and making sure that he regains the support that he had from the mountain?
Like I mentioned earlier, Ruto is a political animal. He's been around. And this man would camp the same way he camps in Nyanza from October 2022. It's the same way he's going to camp again in Mount Kenya. He will speak with every soul in Mount Kenya, and he will have quite considerable vote in 2027. He will engage people, and just like he said, he will debunk the lies, the emotions that has been whipped against him in Mount Kenya region. And people in the mountain, quite a number, will vote for William Ruto. William Ruto will be in the mountain tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, next week, and he will get considerable vote. Yes.
Wakili,
Yes.
the political direction of Mount Kenya, is it definite right now?
For the first time, Mount Kenya will have a divided vote.
How so?
A number of people support Rigathi Gachagua, and they will do so up to the ballot. And of course, depending on how the cards will be played. But there is another group who feels that it is the last term for William Ruto, and they do not have a formidable candidate. So bringing someone, because it's very difficult for a Mount Kenya candidate to be supported right now. So bringing someone like Kalonzo will mean that he goes for 2 terms, and that will subject them to a longer wait. And in this current government, there is, they have the second in command. The factor of the professor, the good professor Kithure Kindiki.
Yes, yes.
So, this has already shown in the by-elections, the Mbeere by-election, where Wamuthende won against the DCP candidate, and you could see the margin.
It was actually the DP candidate, not the DCP candidate.
The DP candidate won against the DCP candidate. Yes, Wamuthende won against the DP candidate.
Yes.
And the DP candidate was backed by the opposition. He was the opposition candidate.
Yes.
So we expect, because with this was actually whose staff? This was the DP's staff.
But given the margin,
yes, that's what I'm saying. This was the DP's staff. DP, I mean Professor Kithure Kindiki.
Yes.
This was his staff. And remember, in his staff, you see the margin was very small. So you cannot ignore Rigathi Gachagua as well. So one thing I know is that for the first time, they are going to be like the Kisii votes. Kisii votes have also never casted their votes on the same basket. They are always there in government. And this is advantageous in one way, is that they will be in the opposition and they will be in government. And so they will be negotiating on the opposition posts with the likes of Kalonzo Musyoka, putting ultimatums that we have given you the votes, so we want the leader of minority, we want the leader of this. So that will only be realized by getting numbers. And at the same time, they'll be with the president that we have given you this number of votes, we want the DP position, or we want given CS. So for me, I look at it from an opportunistic point. They are trying to explore. And Rigathi Gachagua has achieved that. One, for Rigathi Gachagua, he has achieved one thing, being the outspoken and the de facto, if not de jure. Right now, if you look at the kingpins, Rigathi Gachagua, hate him or love him, is like the kingpin. He's just waiting coronation. But he has gone out, because for you to be a kingpin, any publicity in politics is good, both negative and positive. They build you equally. So he has used both to build himself to where he is. And so we cannot ignore him. So in a nutshell, Migwi, we cannot project that the mountains will vote a certain way. It's clear that that is going to be a 60-40 or a 50-50 for the president and for Rigathi Gachagua.
Let me ask you, is it more of a do or die for the president, or is it more of a do or die for the opposition when it comes to, for the united opposition, when it comes to Mount Kenya?
You know, President Ruto's conversation with the opposing regions in the Republic is very deliberate.
Yes.
And the way he packages his messaging is purely based on deliverables, both projected and ongoing projects. And you know, the conversation, the way the opposition packages their message is very weak, because what else do you have on William Ruto other than profiling him and labeling him, you know, with all kinds of names? And William Ruto is very definite in how he engages Mount Kenya, Western Kenya, the rest of the nation. Purely, Ruto walks around the Republic and he engages directly on an ongoing project. And the people in every quarter of this nation, I have realized that as much as we don't agree with William Ruto on many things, but somehow in every constituency, in every village, there's something little ongoing. And that's something little ongoing in most parts of this nation. The citizens themselves, when it comes to election in 2027 August, they will elect William Ruto based on that. And that makes it a do or die for the opposition, not for William Ruto.
But it has been evident that sometimes people do vote based on euphoria rather than concrete of, other than what is happening in terms of matters to do with development.
the African democracy practice, elections and politics is so ethnicized. And that's a reality that we must accept. Equally, we must also accept that quite a majority of Kenyans who are going to vote in 2027 moving forward, they are people who are not very tribal. They are people who have been raised up in most urbans across the region. And this Gen Z group, my only prayer to them is that they should take ID cards, they should register as voters, so that their good intentions should be spoken constructively in the ballot by giving Kenyans good leaders, by re-electing Dr. William Ruto overwhelmingly to give Kenya serious stability.
All right. Okay, given that we're talking about matters development, and well, Mount Kenya is considered to be a little bit developed than other areas.
Not a little bit. Seriously developed.
What is seriously?
Seriously developed.
Seriously. Yeah. Okay. Now, how does that development agenda fit within national priorities? And now, focusing on the whole idea of getting re-election in 2027.
The developments have been there. And that's why we insisted on seriously developed. But does it matter? No. Development, with or without development, the manners in this Kenyan politics is not that good. It's about our person.
Politics of our person.
Politics of our person. So, because right now, the people of the mountain, or let me say the opposition, who glaringly it's being led by Rigathi Gachagua. They are crying about neglect. They are crying about being neglected. Yet, for the first time in Suba, for the first time since history began, it's when we are getting a fast tarmac road, which the process is very slow. That is Suba South. In Suba Central, where I come from, the roads are very bad. You saw Sifuna the other day lamented at Jirongo's funeral that he took his... There are very good places at Sindo, when they should come. There is the Ruma National Park. There is the Lake Victoria, a big chunk of it, very clean with no water hyacinth. There is the Victory Farms. But the state of Sindo is terrible. No roads, they are not maintained. It's a very bad place. But the irony is that the people of Sindo, or the people of Nyanza, or the people of Suba South, or Suba Central, are appreciating the little they have. The fact that there is a tarmac that now is promising. The other day I wrote a letter to Kera, to the national, the roads board and everything, lamenting the Koguta Nyabera road. Right now I saw it was included in the budget as one of the roads that needs to be upgraded. But just imagine, with a little, as compared to that in the mountain, who should be now crying against the government? It should be us who are crying that the government has done poorly. If it was about development. If it was about development, then we would have not even voted in the first place, because we don't have anything to really count on. It is at this point that William Ruto became the president that even our town, our area was upgraded to a sub-county, Suba Central. The president has come there twice to launch the road and to launch the ring road in Mfangano and also the Rusinga one. So if you have to look at it, then you look at the mountain, who are crying of neglect, yet they have how many CSS? Yet how many roads are there? So that's why it's not about development. It's about just how well you project your interests. And this is not an interest of the electorates. Politicians have a way of projecting their interests, their personal and selfish interests, to appear as though it is the public interest. and that is their currency. So we are not going to pretend that the developments in the mountain will count. No, it is the interest, and it is how the president will project those interests on one part, and the Rigathi Gachagua will project those interests on his part, that will win the hearts of the mountain. And the one last thing about life, and in its analogy that we tend also to be being very jealous. You will meet Obuya one day, and you ask Obuya, you have a very nice suit, like he has today.
Thank you.
And now you ask Wasaga, can I buy you a suit like this for Obuya, or I take Obuya's suit? Wasaga will tell you, take Obuya's suit, so that we remain. And that is the kind of politics that we have in Kenya. Someone already has a good suit, and when you also want to buy a suit, the other person says you better deny him. You take that from him, so that he remains without one. Instead of you also advocating to get a similar suit as that of Obuya. And that is the problem we have.
That is the problem we have. You know, in the interest of time, going forward, and I'll take this as your closing remarks, going forward, how do you see the politics now shifting in Mount Kenya going forward?
Going forward, the political elite are going to be shocked. And I just want to pray that beginning with my good friend Rigathi Gachagua, like my brother mentioned, that let's call him a de facto opposition leader. He's nearly assuming the position that Raila has been. And I want him, if you want to assume that position, I want him to be very wise on how, when to stop and when to front. Politics needs some level of intelligence. Yes. Leadership needs tolerance. And one thing that I want to say that Mount Kenya is changing. From the outcome of the Mbere by-election is testimony that citizens of Mount Kenya can be engaged directly, and there could be a positive outcome. And that is going to be realized in 2027 President Ruto's re-election. Mount Kenya will shock you. They will vote for William Ruto overwhelmingly again.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Wakili.
Yes.
Your final remarks.
My final remarks. It's simple. Kenya is at a point that we have never imagined. All along, since I think I was born, I have always known politics from the point of Raila being in the opposition, not being a very formidable factor in any election. But for the first time, we are going to do that election without him. This has exposed a lot of things. It has exposed the fact that politics in Kenya is revolved around individuals. And so we should dissociate ourselves from individual politics and look at politics from a broad perspective of the Constitution and also the interest of the public, so that we are able to build ourselves. What will happen to ODM, only God knows. But then, whatever happens to ODM should also be a lesson to politicians who are currently running political parties, that it's high time that we also develop a mechanism whereby we are able to develop our people politically as well, so that when a time like this comes, we are able to diversify and come back. The main, if I may take just a minute, the main undoing, or the main advantage, not undoing, but the main advantage that the Western, I mean the Western province, the former Western province, the Kisses and the Central province I have had for a very long time,
Yes.
is that their politics, they are diversified. They are all over. But then when it comes to the election, then you find them coming to either one basket, or one basket is weighing a little bit heavier than the other.
Yes.
So we also need to take care of Raila's legacy. That is my message to the ODM. It is high time that they come back, talk, and get a way forward, because the rhetorics in ODM right now, it's not really the best. If you cannot be a secretary general, that speaks for the party. Ship out.
That's powerful.
Yes, that's powerful. That was our town gentleman, and I thank you so much for making time to come on Good Morning Kenya and talk about what is happening in the country. That is Wakili Peter Wasaga, who is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and Honorable Kennedy Obuya, who is the UDA chairperson in Homa Bay County. Thank you so much for tuning in to Good Morning Kenya, and particularly this conversation on people and politics. My name is Mike Migwe. Good Morning Kenya continues shortly. Stay with us.